We noticed yesterday afternoon as we were coming back from our walk that the bees were absolutely honking, and it was overcast, not quite raining, and bees shouldn't be doing that at that stage. So we had a closer look, and it does appear that we've been robbed. They do that this time of year. We lose a hive every year. It's a part of what they do. If you see the commercial boys, they have their hives in groups, 3 or 4, and all of their hives have guard bees to stop them being attacked all the time. Our bees live by themselves. They've never seen another bee, and they're totally undefended. And when you get lots of bees around a hive on a rainy day, this time of year, chances are she's being robbed. So we bunged up the owl about 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock this afternoon, we'll come out and have another look, see how we're going, see if there's how much activity there is. But I suspect we've lost this hive as well. But it's another 10 or 15 litres of honey for honey mead.
I don't like the look of this. I think my bees are being robbed. So I've blocked off the entrance. There's fighting going on there. I can't see any difference between the bee types, but I cannot see any bees arriving with pollen on their legs, which lets me think that these are invading bees. So I've put this bit of wood on the entrance. Hopefully my bees can find. My bees have 10 kilos of honey in this hive, so they've got plenty to keep them fed. It's the next day and my bees must have been killed before I blocked the entrance of the hive. There are a lot of very angry bees in here. I did not like being trapped in there. These are the robber bees I trapped in there last night. There's honey. Bees you can see are not my bees. These are the bees that killed my bees and have been trying to rob. It's nice and cool right now. I'm just trying to get all the honey for myself and not for the robber bees. That's a lot of honey. I can barely pick up that. You see that honey? I can't believe we've got no bees. Oh, holy heck, that's heavy. Right, everything, my buckets are all sterilised.
These are clean muslin bags bought from Bunnings. After scraping, I will hang these bags up to drip so that the honey goes through and leaves the wax and impurities behind. Nothing will be wasted. The honey will be used in honey mead, and the wax will be rendered down to be used in balms. Isn't it amazing? There was no bees here when I started, now we're inundated. At this point, I decided to use common sense, pack everything away, cover the frames with wet towels and wait till the evening when the temperature is cool. So I've hung that in my greenhouse. There's one bee in here. The reason I'm using the greenhouse is it gets lovely and warm in here and it helps the honey run into the pot better. Hanging the honey by the fire was a good idea, but we hung the honey too close to the fire, so it melted some of the wax, so I had to strain it twice. These are the ingredients you need for 25 litres of honey mead: 10 kilos of honey, the juice of 4 lemons, 1 cup of strong black tea, and mead yeast. There's nothing edible here, mate. It's here.
Right, in here is the engine for the freezer. So I've got a box that this goes in here, and the freezer keeps it warm. Let me show you. Right, now in here we have a controller that runs over and it comes up to this unit here, and this unit controls the temperature or lets us know when it's cold, and it turns it off and on. And the heat source is a light bulb. So when it gets cold, this tells it it's cold, this tells it it's cold, and it tells the power, this red supply here, to turn on. And if that red supply turns on, that light turns on. And it's also heated by the freezer motor. So basically the freezer motor does most of the work, and at night time the unit turns on. And it gives us a display at the front. There's the range on that display. It's hot and cold, and it stays above 14 degrees, which is what you really need to keep your yeast alive. So I'll just put this in there now and put the lid on. This is the lid. This is the lid here. And this is just a box with a hole in it. That hole fits over the engine, so that the freezer running just heats the brew barrel. This is a brew barrel box. Very simple. Pretty much it does it itself. But we were getting some bad brews, which is why we went up to the flash unit. And it definitely made all the difference. We can brew right through winter now without any problem at all. Not that we do any brewing, of course. No. We eat all our fruit. Well, it's a bit muddy outside and it's not very nice, so I thought I'd knock out a few saw-stools. They're one of the things that you can always do with more of, and they're annoyingly difficult to make, but not outstandingly so. They can be made out of pretty much anything, but here we go. I'm having a go with a couple of pieces of 4x2, just checking to make sure the other one's the same length, or I can cut it out of a piece. Yep, all good. So start by taking a guess about how much you want hanging over the end. I'm making this one about 12 degrees both ways, so the legs will be splayed 12 degrees and they'll be pointing outwards at 12 degrees. I can mark the angles once I've decided where I actually want the legs to go. I happen to have some leftover 4x1 sitting around dressed, so I'm going to use that for the legs. And once again, using the bevel, got to mark both directions, across the face and across the side, because that's going to be level with the top of the saw-stool. Now I can measure the length of that cut, and then I can mark it onto the top of the saw-stool. The depth of the cut at the top is the depth of the cut across the leg, top of the leg, so I can now mark that on as well. With all four corners marked, I can transfer that measurement down to the end. And with that on there, I can use the bevel to mark down the end of the saw stool, which gives me the depth for the cut at the bottom side of the saw stool, where the legs splay out. With this done, I can then transfer that mark back up the saw stool to mark in where the cuts go. That gives me the spread of the legs. And once again, marking all four corners, I can then use the bevel to mark on the side the angle of the cut, and that's the angle of the legs sticking away from the saw stool fore and aft. And with those points determined, I can mark the other side, giving me the complete set of marks for my cuts. The depth and the angle of these cuts determines the spread of the legs, which should be the 12 degrees, equal to the spread of the legs lengthwise down it. And once again, all four corners, and we're ready to start cutting. A quick run over with a little block plane just to clean up any of the hairy edges, all four sides. You're going to be using it for a while and it's annoying to look at something that's scruffy, so all four sides, and just make sure you're going with the grain of course, and all four ends, just to makes it look a bit nicer. With that all marked out, we're ready to start doing the checkouts. It's actually quite difficult to achieve this cut with a circular saw, so it's back into the old hand tools. Cutting down the face side to the line, then checking the other side and finishing it off gently. Yes, about there. And again at the other end of the cut. Just down to the line, and then check the other side, make sure it's at the line, and then it's just a matter of going down and cutting a bunch of slots that are as close as you can get that you'll be able to chisel down to. It's not a bad idea if you're going to do a bit of work with a chisel to make sure they're sharp. I keep my chisels pretty sharp anyway, but before a decent sort of a workout, I like to give them a bit of a tickle up. Now this is cutting oil, engineer's cutting oil, and it makes a very nice job on a good smooth stone. Now the ground face of the chisel should be about 30 degrees, so the face that you're honing to should be about 45. Now wipe the back after you've tickled it, and if you've ever wondered what sharp should be with a chisel, have a look. You should be able to shave with it. And there you go, shaving with a chisel. That's called sharp. Now the aim of the game here with the chisel is to just take a lump off at the line, make sure it doesn't break away at the back, and you're just trying to establish a nice neat face. You're not trying to take a big chunk of meat out, it's just a little slice sort of upwards at 45 degrees just to get that edge nice and tidy. And then again from the other side. just chiseling along the line, just trying to get that edge nice and tidy. With the edges cleaned up, you just chisel the bulk out, being careful not to damage anything. And just to finish up by hand, and you can feel the whole blade running across the surface. You know it's flat, it hasn't got any bumps. Next up, cut the ends of the legs, cut it to length, and then check to see if it fits alright. It's not a bad idea to label these parts so you know which part goes where as you try to glue it together. And same again for the other three corners. Measure where the screws go, mark it out, then drill them, countersink them and glue, and you'll be ready to go. Now with all the legs glued and screwed on, we've just got to make a couple of blocks for the end. These just sort of make it a little bit more rigid. Once again, pieces of 4x1, just cut, glued, screwed in. Now these bits I'm adding in here, these are just braces. They just make it a little bit stronger still. also glued in and screwed in. And there you have it, a saw stool. Now I'm just going to leave that to dry. I'm actually going to knock out another one while I'm waiting for it. And that's it, a saw stool. And here you go, the finished article. I hope you've enjoyed watching us do things. Subscribe makes it much easier to find us next time if you enjoyed it, and it's completely free. And every saw stool needs a buddy, so there's its mate. And look at that, perfectly stackable. Grand little things.